guys, it's Laura from How to Get Your Shit Together, and in this video I am talking to you about meditation. Yeah. Now I know it has a reputation as being a bit airy-fairy, but bear with me, okay? I do not go into a trance or reach transcendence, so you can stop picturing, Tibetan monks sitting on top of mountains, their legs in the lotus position. That is not me. Instead, you can consider this a former skeptic's guide to meditation, where I just cut the crap and tell you how and why I sit in silence for a few minutes every day. Let's go. Now, for a long time, I was of the firm belief that meditation was nothing more than mumbo-jumbo. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are of the same belief, but the fact is, there is science behind it. Yeah. Meditation has been scientifically proven to reduce stress, decrease blood pressure, and improve your focus and concentration, along with a whole host of other benefits. And I mean, you can't really argue with science. So I will put a source link in the description box below if you want to read some more about all those wonderful, wonderful benefits. But hey, anything that claims that it can help me lead a calmer life, I'm gonna give it a go. So I sucked up my skepticism and I sat cross-legged. And that was a few years ago now, so reformed skeptic. Now, I won't say that I have been a dedicated or consistent practitioner for all of those years, but recently I have been trying to do it twice a day, so morning and evening, and at times when I feel particularly stressed or upset or just plain pissed off. And you know what? Feckin' works. Remember, it's not all ums and sacred omens. My meditation practice is about as basic as it gets. So let me run you through it. 1, I sit in silence, or as much silence as can be mustered in a busy suburban area. Always alone, because there is no way I could concentrate with my 3-year-old by my side. So I try to do it first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Sometimes I sit cross-legged, but not always, because frankly I have dodgy knees, and most recently I have somehow managed to damage both of my hamstrings. Honestly, I don't think there's a single part of me that isn't a total wreck. Getting so old. As for my hands, I just clasp them in my lap, fingers interlocking, palms up. None of this crack, despite what the thumbnail would have you believe. 2, once I'm comfortable, I close my eyes. Now this is optional, but for me, I am very distracted by visual stimuli. Seriously, if there is a TV in my line of sight, even if it's on mute, then I am not listening to a word you are saying. Or if we are having dinner, but there is drama going on at some other table, you may as well not exist. It's terrible. So yeah, I close my eyes lest I be distracted by a floating bit of fluff. You can keep yours open if that's what works best for you. 3, I try focus on just one thing. Mentally, obviously, because my eyes are closed. It is very common for your mind to be flooded with thoughts. So trying to empty it completely, nah. The best thing to do is to try and focus it on one particular thing. And for most meditators, that is their breathing. If it helps, you could even count the seconds. So 4 to inhale, 4 to hold, and 8 to exhale. Personally, I very rarely count, but hey, whatever floats your breathing boat. And look, doesn't even have to be your breath. You could focus on the sounds that you hear or the things that you see, assuming your eyes are open, and the things that you feel. Is your body tense? Is your arse gone numb? Or you could repeat a phrase, a mantra, or affirmation, whatever you want to call it, over and over again to yourself. I am a strong, confident woman. Or you could just picture yourself in your happy place. If I'm really having difficulty shutting out all other thoughts, then I just repeat the word blank silently to myself, just to remind myself that that is what I want my brain to be for those few minutes. Now go easy on yourself if your mind wanders. It happens. Don't be hard on yourself or think that you're doing a bad job. Just acknowledge that it happened and then try to refocus. Trust me when I say that it is only natural for random thoughts to go racing through your head. Now, with practice, you'll be able to go for much longer periods without it happening, but in the beginning, expect it a lot. 4, once I feel ready, I go about my normal day. It's usually after about 10 to 15 minutes, but I have been practicing for a while, so if in the beginning you can only manage a minute or so, that's totally fine. Don't be at all discouraged. Start small, work your way up. You'll soon be able to sit for much longer, but even a minute can be hugely beneficial if that is all of the time that you have. Okay, so why should you practice meditation? Here are some thoughts that you may be having right about now. Ugh, what is the point? Why would I bother my arse? You kidding me? Ain't nobody got time for that. Ugh, can't I just watch Netflix? I hear ya, but consider the following. Do you sometimes have trouble sleeping because your brain is racing at a mile a minute? Do you often feel overwhelmed by all of the things you have to do? Do you worry or stress over things that have happened, are currently happening, or may happen in the future? Do you have kids? If you answered yes to any of the above, then I recommend you take a strong dose of meditation stat. The aim of meditation is just to get your brain to slow down for a second so that you can focus on the here and now. It's to take yourself out of the rat race for just a few moments so you can experience some stillness and some calm in an otherwise chaotic world. It's to focus on just one thing without judgment. So you're not freaking out about your financial situation, you're not worrying about the weather forecast, none of that. You're not stressing, you're just sitting there quietly. Your brain is noticing, not nagging. Really, it's just a bit of a chill out session. After a short while, you will feel your breath deepen and your heart rate slow down. I think it's one of those built-in biological things where your brain thinks, if I have all this time to be sitting and doing all this deep breathing, then I must not be being chased by a man-eating monster. So it's probably cool to just chill out for a bit. Basically, it's to give your brain a bit of a break so you can stop the madness and just switch off for a few minutes. Why do I personally practice meditation? Have you not been listening? I find that usually when I start my day with some peace and quiet and some space for my own thoughts before my daughter interrupts with all of hers, it helps the day run a lot more smoothly. The focus helps me feel a lot less frazzled. And then doing the same last thing at night helps my brain to slow down before bed. If it was a good day, then I, just sit and appreciate that. But if it was a not so good day, then I take some time just to learn the lessons and to remember that when I wake up, it's a fresh start. I also meditate if I am feeling particularly upset or angry or emotional or whatever. It just helps me calm down and think rationally, because when I am upset, I can be all kinds of crazy. So rather than acting out in the heat of the moment and later regretting it, meditation is the buffer that I need between whatever has riled me up and, me acting rashly or letting negativity come in and ruin the rest of my day. It's why when we're angry, we're told to count to 10. Buffer. Just a few minutes of sitting in silence and focusing on one thing can make all of the difference to your health, both physical and mental. And quieting your mind for a few minutes helps you feel a little bit more centered, maybe a lot less like killing your other half. Meditation has probably saved my husband's life. It helps you remove yourself from the madness that is everyday life and just to hit the refresh button and regain a sense of control. When you step back from outside influences like advertisements and editorials and stick-thin models and impossibly perfect pictures, you can, take stock and realize that, hey, life is pretty feckin' great. All you have to do is take the time to notice. And that's it for another video. Thumbs up if you think we could all benefit from hitting the pause button in life every once in a while. I'd love to know in the comments below if you meditate, and if so, how often you do it. And if you don't meditate, has this video made you reconsider? And hey, if you meditate but your friends don't, they think it's a bit airy-fairy, then maybe you could share this video with them to demonstrate that it's not all hippy-dippy bullshit. I mean, some of it is, but not all of it. Thank you so much for watching. That wraps up my minimalist May. I will be back next week with a video on how to live your life without regrets. That will also be free of bullshit. Until then, gur míle maith agaibh agus feici mé sibse go luath. Slán!